If you're anything like me, you are always hoping that you can try to learn more by reading more books. I mean, so many experts online cite reading books as one of the top ways that they learn, but I set the goal every year, and every year I tend to fall short on how many books I read. Now, this is largely because I am a pretty busy person. I'm trying to prioritize multiple aspects of my life, such as my health and my career, and most oftentimes, reading kind of falls to the wayside. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow, and I make videos on self-improvement topics. And in today's video, I figured I would discuss my favorite resources to use to learn things if you are a busy person. These are going to be great for people who have a busy schedule and frankly just don't have the time or the interest in just sitting down and reading a bunch of books. If that sounds interesting to you, let's go ahead and jump into the video. First up, not a lot of people think about this, but I'm going to call this on-the-job training. This is going to be simply learning something by doing it. Now, don't get me wrong, this is going to take more time than if you had been given some sort of formal training or education in a topic, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. If you're really interested in learning something and you don't feel like you have the time to really sit down and study it, just start working on it and trying to do it. And you'll find that while it might be hard at first, over time you're going to start making progress. This is actually how my first job went. I started as an automation consultant with pretty much zero experience in automation. But they sent me out to my first job site and kind of just threw me in the deep end. If I didn't take the time to ask my peers questions about what it was I was working on, what the different things did, I wouldn't have learned anything. But instead, in order to survive, I had to learn by simply asking questions and adapting on the fly. Now, I get that this is not going to be everyone's favorite way of learning things because it can be pretty frustrating and stressful, especially if it's actually on the job and in your career. So if this isn't something that appeals that much to you, let's go ahead and look at the next thing. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of us don't have the time to sit down and read hundreds of books every year like a lot of these self-improvement gurus on the internet claim that they do. Well, what I've come to learn is what they'll actually often do is use audiobooks so that way that they can listen to the books whenever they have time or doing other things. Audiobooks give you all the pros of actual books while also presenting to you the flexibility of being able to do it on your time and not having to actually sit down and just focus on reading the book. Books give you a certain level of expertise where someone compiled or put together many years of experience to put it into this one book for you. So a lot of times the depth of information that can be presented in books is going to be a lot more in depth than something that you would find in other resources. But the nice thing about the audiobooks is that you can put them on whenever you are doing something else. Let's say you're going on your morning commute to work, or you're cleaning dishes, or simply just going for a walk and want to listen to something. All of these are opportunities to be listening to an audiobook and learning something new. No longer are you limited to the physical constraint of the book or your time. And speaking of resources that are great for listening to, my next favorite resource is going to be podcasts. If there's a topic out there that you want to learn about, chances are there is going to be some form of a podcast on it and in some form of format that you enjoy. Are you into personal finance? There's a podcast for that. Are you into health and fitness? There's a podcast for that. Are you into some sort of creativity? There is a podcast for that as well. Like I said, there's a podcast for almost anything that you can think of. And a lot of times these are great because podcasts are being hosted by someone who is helping to guide the conversation and usually will start asking questions that most people are thinking of and are trying to learn about. Podcasts are great resources, especially when you're first starting to learn something, because a lot of times the host will answer these commonly asked questions. As you start learning more, you can start looking into episodes or different podcasts that give you more in-depth information and are more tailored to your personal style. There are tons of podcasts that are out there that teach through some form of comedy, where there are also podcasts that give it in a more formal tone. The other nice thing about podcasts is you can really just play or stop them at any point that you want, and you'll be able to pick up where you left off. One of my favorite podcasts regularly does around 3-hour episodes, which honestly, I can't just sit there and listen to something for 3 hours. So a lot of times I'll break it up into chunks of about an hour and listen at different points of my day. And I really like that it offers that flexibility. And a lot of times podcasts will break things down into understandable bites, so that way it's easier for everyone in general to learn. And while we're on the topic of using media as a resource for learning, my next favorite resource is going to be YouTube. Just like with podcasts, you can find a YouTube video out there for pretty much anything. I know people that have learned how to fix and flip their houses by going on YouTube and just learning it through what they call YouTube University. Again, YouTube will offer videos in pretty much any style that you want, whether that's short form content or long form content. Now, one thing to note is that due to how the algorithm works nowadays, it more rewards shorter form content that doesn't go as in depth with material. So if you're looking for more ideas and places to get started, YouTube is a great place to start. But I've personally found that a lot of YouTube videos aren't going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to do particular things, except when it comes to very hands-on skills. It's very simple to look up a video on how do I fix this part in my car, because that's a very hands-on skill. It's very easy to show you how to do that. Versus it's pretty difficult to find a YouTube video where you look up how to start a business and you're gonna find something that is really specific to helping you start your own business. Usually you'll find videos that are more centered around generalized advice so that more people can watch it and it can be more broadly applicable to them. But like I said, if you're trying to get ideas on where to start with some of these big topics, YouTube is a great place to go. And finally, the next resource that I highly recommend making use of when you don't have time to just sit around and read books is take advantage of mentors in your life. Throughout your life, I'm sure many of you can think of people who were instrumental in guiding you to where you are today. A lot of times people don't realize this until after the fact, but you can take huge advantage of it in your life if you just start paying a little bit more attention to the people in your life that are doing the things that you want to do. You can learn from mentors simply by watching them, trying to emulate them, or even developing some form of a relationship with them. What I personally don't recommend doing is going up to someone and explicitly asking, hey, can you be my mentor? A lot of times there's not a whole lot of incentive for someone to do that for you. Instead, sometimes it's best to sweeten the deal for them or not even allow them to realize that they are being a mentor by just simply trying to offer to do things for them. A lot of times you can learn from these people simply by being in the same space as them and working under them and paying attention to what they do in order for them to be successful. But you can also have more formal mentors where you ask for that. For instance, I have a mentor through my job, and honestly, he's given me a lot of valuable insight and some great advice on how to approach various different situations that I've encountered throughout my career. You can also have mentors through your friends and your family. But again, the best way to go about selecting these mentors is paying attention in your life to the people who are doing the things that you want to do. Who's leading a happy life, developing successful relationships, and who has been where you want to be. These are the people that you want to make your mentors and who you want to try and emulate. And that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. I hope that y'all found it to be helpful or informative. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you have any of your own ideas, thoughts, or opinions, please let me know with a comment down below. I like to read and respond to all of them. If you're interested in more videos like this one about learning related topics, be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about why most people stop learning after 25. If you're more interested in my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is Tyler Warlow, signing off.